Hello everyone, thank you for being here in today's conversation with Federico García Lorca. I'm sure you've read at least one of the works of this emblematic poet of influence and popularity of the Spanish literature of the 20th century. And if you haven't already, well, what are you waiting for, right, Federico?
Yes, I couldn't say it better.
Okay, so here we go, Federico García Lorca. He's here. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Fine, I'm excited to talk with you. It has been so long since the last interview. How's your day going?
Good. I have been busy writing. I am very excited also for this interview. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
I'm sure of it. You have to concentrate. And well, I would like to start with the following. Regarding your life, you were born in 1898 in Fuentes Vaqueros. So what can you tell us about that? What do you remember about your early years in your homeland?
As you mentioned, I was born in the street of Trinidad de Fuentes Vaqueros on June 5, 1898, year in which Rubén Darío arrived in Spain as well as Spain signed the Treaty of Paris. My childhood was simple and I don't have much to tell. It was like that of any peasant family you might met. I remember that I was somewhat withdrawn, very observant and generous. In fact, what I remember especially from my childhood is the summer square and my father's guitar, but above all, the green valley of Granada, where I came to appreciate the love for the peasant people as well as the huge fascination I have for nature, which inspired my first artistic manifestations.
Very interesting. And tell me, what about your beginnings in school as well as art?
Well, I started the school at the age of 4 since my mother was a former teacher in town and she got me permission to start studying. I will always reminisce about my first teacher, Antonio Rodriguez Espinosa, who taught me day by day and who took us on many field trips. I still have a good relationship with him and I have invited him to the premiere of many of my plays. At school, I was filled with games, impressive stories, and songs that fanned in me the flame of music before my concern either drama or poetry. It is important to mention that before I finally moved to Granada after my stay in Rubio, a gypsy group with a puppet show arrived in Fuente Vaqueros when I was around 7 or 8 years old. Such was the joy I felt when I saw the show that the next day I prepared a puppet theater with cardboard and rags. I was amazed, and it was at that moment when I felt captivated by dramaturgy.
In 1915, the death of your music teacher and the end of your high school studies made you rethink what you wanted in life. So tell me about your change from high school to university.
As you say, when my music teacher died, my desire to continue studying music vanished. I felt very sad. Although I did not give up guitar and piano lessons in Granada because it was something I really enjoyed. On the other hand, the end of high school forced me to think about what career to study. My parents wanted me to study law and I was curious about philosophy, so I started my way through university studying those two careers. However, I was neither diligent in my studies nor interested in what I was studying. Let me tell you that I didn't even finish my philosophy degree.
Tell us about your first book. Is it true that the first book you wrote was dedicated to a person? Who's that person?
First of all, let me tell you that I wanted to study music in Paris, so I went to a conservatory to study composition and piano with Antonio Segura. With him, I studied popular songs and I was able to interpret pieces by Beethoven, Chopin, and I also think that Albeniz. I felt that I owed a lot to Don Antonio, for which I dedicated my first book, called Impresiones y Paisajes, to him. And let me tell you that the creative process and the time it took me to write Impresiones y Paisajes was longer than I expected. However, in the first day of April 1918, my book arrived in bookstores, and its purpose was to offer the kids to interpret what art, besides writing, meant and came to mean for me.
Now, I would like to ask you a question that I'm sure intrigues so many people, as there were at the time many rumors that you had seriously reconsidered to dedicate yourself to the chair. Is this true?
To a certain extent, it is true, Valentina. At the age of 28, I still had no stable profession and I wanted to seek economic independence. And although I was focused on finishing some poems, I reconsidered preparing for the competitive exams to become a literature teacher, and I asked Jorge Guillén, a Spanish poet and literary critic, for advice. And later, I realized that what I really cared about was theater and poetry.
And following the same line of your works, why after writing such amazing prose works did you stop using it?
I felt very comfortable writing in that way, but as time went, I realized that it didn't belong to me, like the lyrical as well as dramatic style did.
Finally, Federico, I would like you to reflect a little on what you use in your works, such as certain words, and on the other hand, what does art mean to you?
There are different words that we use in our daily lives, to the point that in literature we as writers are not the ones who choose the words. Different words are the ones that mold us. Many people have told me on many occasions, believe me, that I allude to death to a great extent. And in several of my works, you can find many references to the night, moon, blood, twilight, or also shadows. I renew my references, but I also recognize that I repeat this a lot. And regarding the aspect of art, for me personally, it is a way of feeling, of being, and of living reality. Art and life are complementary due to the fact that one cannot be understood without the other. In a few words, life is nourished by art.
It's very interesting what you tell us. Thank you for feeding us with your greatest literary works. I really do appreciate it, and also for doing this. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.